Now I'll share my slide again. So first of all, what is a language flagship? Okay, so the language flagship is a national effort to change how Americans learn languages. And I know for those of you, this might be preaching to the choir, but if we put the United States in comparison with other countries such as European countries or China, the number of people studying a foreign language is really, the number is really small. And also the kind of effort we have been putting in here is relatively small compared to many other countries. Therefore, we need to realize that the ability to speak with a high language is critical, not only to our families, our grandparents, but also critical to our national security, economic, and trade, as you see in public health and everything, okay? So the government is very concerned about this. Therefore, language flagship is established as a national effort to increase the foreign language capacity in the United States. And it offers language programs at schools across the United States in the so-called critical languages, including Chinese, Hindi, Korean, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Turkish, and Urdu, okay? It doesn't mean other languages are not important, but it means that these languages, we are in a more critical need of advanced level speakers. And the goal of the flagship program is to graduate students who will be the next generation of professionals, and the next generation of professionals who can command a superior level of proficiency in one of many languages critical to the US competitiveness and security, okay? And if you want to learn more about it, simply go to this website and you will see more about it, okay? So this is a brief overview of what language flagship is. But the critical keyword here is a superior level of proficiency. So what is the superior level of proficiency? This can be a whole year of topic, you know, in a graduate student seminar, because this is a very important and complex topic. But as language educators and language learners, I want to give you a quick nutshell of what this is. This is based on the guideline provided by the American Councils on the teaching of foreign languages, okay? It basically provides you with a standard on what we call an advanced level for speaking or for listening, for reading and writing, okay? And this guideline, you know, has been revised multiple times, and right now you can find a most updated copy of this guideline on ACTFL's website, and it has a detailed description of different aspects of your language skills for different levels. So this is what it looks like in briefly speaking. So you can see the lowest level, it starts with novice low, it moves on to intermediate, but between each level, there are smaller sub-levels. For example, novice low can be divided into novice level can be divided into novice low, novice mid, and novice high. Until you move to advanced, you also have advanced low, advanced mid, advanced high, okay? For example, the highest level is the distinguished, okay, at the top. But if you can get to superior level, that's good enough already, okay? But what can you do with the superior level? What is a superior level like, okay? I will give you one quick example of what a superior level speaker can do at this point. So speakers at the superior level are able to communicate with accuracy and fluency in order to participate fully and effectively in conversations on a variety of topics in formal and informal settings from both concrete and abstract perspectives. Okay, I will just read that much. So for example, right now, In your first year Chinese classes, you may be learning about, talking about weather or talking about making a plan. That is concrete tasks. However, when you move on to a fourth year level, currently in my classes, we are talking about the rapid development in China and the sacrifice, some aspect of human rights. Can you talk about that? So the trade-off between development and human rights, that's a abstract topic. That's not a problem just in China, but also a problem in the United States. So we are moving from a novice to an advanced level, from concrete topics to abstract topics. However, also pay attention to formality. So you know how to say 你好, hello, 再见, so on and so forth. That is informal, in informal setting. But in Chinese, there are numerous ways of how to express the same thing in a formal setting. Okay, so all of those should be something that we pay attention to, and we hope that you will acquire. Okay, and the next question is, we only have 4 years at UW. Okay, how do we move along this continuum so that you can perhaps achieve a superior level of proficiency? So here is a quick sort of a schema of how UW classes are matched with our ACTFL proficiency. However, this is not to say as long as you get a pass in our classes, you will automatically be at a novice high or advanced level. I will talk about that in the next after I finish talking about UW courses. So many of you have been taking classes or have taken classes here. We start from first year Chinese, and first year Chinese roughly is equivalent to novice high to intermediate low. And moving on to second year, you are moving also along this continuum, okay? So up until fourth year, hopefully, you can graduate fourth year Chinese at a proficiency of advanced mid, if not slightly higher, because some of our fourth year class students are heritage speakers who come with a slight advantage, okay? How does the flagship change, the possible course of our courses? So number one here, we plan to offer a extensive reading class at the third year level and above, okay, for the flagship students. So extensive reading is really exposing students to a variety of books, genres, and topics in using authentic text, okay? Chinese reading is one of the critical bottleneck for many of us. That's why extensive reading is one of the courses that we hope to help you with expanding your reading skills, okay? And secondly is Chinese in humanities. In conjunction with another class, which I will talk about in the next slide. You will be concurrently taking courses in the humanities, especially in Chinese, for example, Chinese poetry, okay? But Chinese poetry at the UW is taught in translation, meaning taught in English. However, with the flagship in place, we hope to teach you poetry and the connection between Chinese poetry with modern Chinese in Chinese. Therefore, you will be able to use those elements that you learned through Chinese poetry and apply that into your modern Chinese. One sign of superior level or distinguished level of Chinese literacy skills is to be able to use elements from Chinese poetry, classical Chinese novels, or even those classics, and litter them around in your writing. That's a sign of advanced level writing. But I'm not saying that's all advanced level writing. Just like if I can cite something from Shakespeare's writing, my level of at least the appearance of my writing is instantly lifted, okay? And secondly, we hope to offer in the winter quarter a course called Chinese in Social Science. And this course will be taught in conjunction with other courses in the social science discipline at the UW, in order to also offer you the tool to discuss complex topics in Chinese regarding social science topics. For example, can you talk about the nature of government in Chinese? Can you talk about the nature, the extent of corruption in Chinese? Can you talk about, for example, the importance of diplomacy in Chinese with China? Okay, all those topics. In a way, we need the content, but we are a language program. We are not political scientists. Okay, we cannot teach you that. But UW is such a great place. We have so many other experts who are willing to work with us. So by collaborating with them, we will be able to teach you content in Chinese, okay? So this is how it works. In the next slide, I will show you some other important courses that is also key to the flagship program. So I already mentioned there are several courses in the Department of Asian Languages under the course title CHIN, denoting Chinese. So at this point, we plan to work with Professor Susan Whiting from the Department of Political Studies, Politics, and also Professor James Ling, who is in the Taiwan Studies, and he teaches a course on the history of modern Taiwan. And then the next question is, other than the courses, what does the flagship program offer? Okay, so I divide this into three components. One is on-campus experience, one is summer, and then the capstone year. So I'll walk you through these. We talked a little bit about the credit-bearing classes, the classes that I just offered. And secondly, the flagship program will be providing students with rigorous tutoring. The tutors will be students at UW studying your major, for example. Of course, we can't be hiring tutors from all majors, but we hope to match students, for example, studying business administration with a tutor who is from business administration, so that during the tutoring sessions, you are not only talking about your course subject, but also talking about your area of study. So that is one of the designs. And tutoring is really not there to tutor you about your courses, but to help you move along the ACTFL proficiency guideline, like I just showed you, okay? And tutors will be provided to flagship students at no cost to the student. The program will cover it all. The program will also offer extracurricular activities, for example, movie nights, or a beginning of the year retreat, so that we're building a community of Chinese learners rather than just students in different classes. Secondly, there will be scholarships for students to go on study in the summer. Summer study is divided into domestic intensive study and study abroad. You can choose which one you go to. And of course, if you are just first year Chinese and you say, I want to just go study in China already, no, it doesn't work that way. I will show you how you can be placed and you can be accepted into the program, and you will be given the scholarship in next, okay? So domestic intensive study and study abroad opportunities will be available in the summer, and scholarships will be provided to admitted flagship students. And the last and most important component of the flagship experience is the capstone year. The capstone year is divided into 2 semesters. One semester, student will study abroad in one of the 2 flagship centers overseas. I will show you next, okay? You will be taking classes with Chinese students side by side in a Chinese speaking university. And the second semester, you will be taking an internship in China. And all of these are credit bearing. You will be able to transfer your credits back to the UW, okay? So the flagship program will cover most, if not all, of the cost for your capstone year abroad. And the flagship centers abroad will help you identify internship opportunities in China and place you into those companies or agencies in a Chinese speaking region, okay? So let's talk about eligibility. So students need to be a US citizen or permanent resident. This is to be able to enjoy the scholarship and the capstone year abroad. However, if you don't have a US citizenship or a permanent resident status, you can also take the flagship classes on campus, but we will not be able to provide you with study abroad scholarship, for example, okay? That's just part of what the government requires. And for current UW students, you need to at least have a GPA of 3.0, and you are committed to achieving superior level of Chinese. That's the basic eligibility, okay? Other than the GPA. Eligibility to study abroad, for example, or a summer domestic study, you should at least reach intermediate mid level of proficiency in speaking or reading or listening in order to benefit most from the experience, okay? And you may ask, how do I know if I have that level or not? The flagship program would also provide you with official standardized exams online, okay, for you to be assessed. And the cost will also be paid by the program. If you choose to study domestically, you can choose from one of the two flagship Chinese institutes, at Indiana University or at University of Rhode Island. Those are the two flagship sponsored domestic study in the summer. And flagship approved programs abroad, you can choose from the following, okay? And I think many of you might have heard about these places already. Once you're admitted into the flagship program on campus at UW, we will be working with you to apply to one of these programs, because they all have different requirements and different deadlines. So, but the flagship program will be working with you to submit your application. Eligibility for capstone year, okay? This is really the culminating experience for you as a Chinese language learner in college. So first of all, you need to be at least in your junior year in order to be considered for a capstone year abroad, because we really want you to be cognitively, socially mature and linguistically mature in order to benefit most from the study experience, okay? Secondly, you need to demonstrate at least advanced low proficiency in the following areas in order to consider. So who goes on to the capstone year at this point is not decided by me or by another faculty member alone, but all the flagship directors will get together annually to choose which student get to go to this capstone year experience abroad, okay? So it's competitive, but once chosen, it will be a very rich and beneficial experience. In order to go on to this capstone year, you also need to complete the flagship program requirements leading up to the capstone year. So for example, completing necessary courses. I will be providing more information on the website, which is under construction at this point, since we're a brand new program. You have two options as your capstone destination. One of them is Nanjing University in Nanjing, near Shanghai, if you are unfamiliar with mainland China. And another one is also in a brand new university, a brand new center in Yangming University in Taipei. So these are the two places you can choose from. Next, we want to talk about how to apply. So for UW students, applications are accepted on a rolling basis. Since we're still building our website, so the application link is still, will be posted soon, okay? But you can think about how would you want to write your personal statement, and who might be your references. I don't need a reference letter at this point, but at least you should think about the names that you could ask for a reference letter. It may be just a phone call that we need to place, okay? But if you are really interested in applying, I encourage you to think about why you may want to apply to this flagship program and how learning Chinese is relevant to your life and your career, and also how you're going to benefit most from the flagship program on campus, okay? And if you're interested and want to stay tuned, you know, at this point, you can just simply send me an email. And for incoming UW freshmen, I know some of our attendees today are high school seniors and high school instructors. For those of you who are not currently at UW, you are also more than welcome to apply. Sorry, there is a mistake. It's not IU, but UW students are, so you're more than welcome to apply. At this point, please just send me an email and I will keep you posted when the application forms are ready, okay? And in the end, I'm about to finish my today's brief introduction, okay? And before I open up the floor, I would like to play 3 very short videos for you. Because we asked 3 recent UW graduates, okay, and who are also very successful, as we commonly define. Let's say they graduated successfully and are having great jobs. And we asked them to speak to you about the important role that advanced Chinese language study at the UW has played in their education and careers. And the 3 students, some of you may know them, Ben Weimiller, class of 2019. He earned a double major in business administration and Chinese, and he's currently working at Smartsheet, a company in Bellevue. And Betsy Zhang, a class of 2018, also double major in economics and Chinese. She currently works at Amazon. And the last one is a MBA student, Michael Kerper. He currently works at, he's in finance and he works in Starbucks. So just about 1 or 2 minutes per, about 1 or 2 minutes per clip. So I want to give you an idea of what they say. Why is it important to advance your Chinese language skills? After this video, I will open up Q&A, okay? So here we go. Oh, hold on.
I am a recent graduate from the University of Washington.
Can you hear?
My name is Ben Weimiller, and I am a recent graduate from the University of Washington, class of 2019. I graduated with degrees in business administration, focusing in operations supply chain management, with a certificate of international studies in business, focusing in China, and a second degree in Chinese language and literature. I currently work for a software company out of Bellevue called Smartsheet, and I help our customers solve their business problems using our platform. While at the University of Washington, I took my fair share of Chinese classes. I took modern Chinese from the 200s to 400th level, took classical Chinese, Chinese prose, poetry, literature and linguistics, and history. I think those classes contributed a lot to not only my Chinese proficiency, giving me enough confidence to study abroad in Beijing and Peking University, but in 2 other ways as well. The first being, I learned how I learn and how to improve how I learn. I was able to take how I was able to be much more efficient, effective, and organized in my Chinese studies and apply that to my classes in the business school as well as in my current career. I also learned through studying Chinese more about myself and about different cultures and how I fit into those cultures. perspectives and cultural awareness that I got from these courses and my experience is pursuing Chinese and going to China are invaluable and have helped me greatly in my current career. Although I don't get to use Chinese directly in my job, I'm excited for the opportunity to do so down the road, and my cultural experiences and new perspectives have helped me deal with increasingly ambiguous situations and with dealing with new teammates and customers from around the world with different cultural backgrounds. Anyone considering taking that first Chinese class or that next Chinese class, I couldn't recommend it more. At the University of Washington, you have some amazing faculty members and resources outside of school to help you grow and learn, not only as someone who's just curious by nature, but for someone who wants to increase their Chinese proficiency and experience the world. For anyone who's currently in a Chinese course, my best recommendation for you is to apply yourself. We've had those days where we don't feel as motivated as we should, and we're going through the steps. I highly recommend to really apply yourself. Find what's interesting to you and push yourself. The benefits you're going to get from improving who you are as a learner, as well as in your Chinese proficiency, are going to be invaluable, not only in your job search, but also for the rest of your life. So I couldn't encourage it more to really apply your
Whoops, sorry.
learner, as well as in your Chinese proficiency, are going to be invaluable, not only in your job search, but also for the rest of your life. So I couldn't encourage it more to really apply yourself and go for it. I think you have some amazing opportunities ahead of you, and I wish you would take them to the fullest advantage. So thank you all for your time.
All right, and I have to point out that Ben is actually a student of one of our attendees today, Heidi. Heidi, can you say hi? Heidi is a high school Chinese instructor.
Sure. Hi. Thank you for inviting me on. And yes, I had been starting out as a Chinese 1 student his freshman year. He's a wonderful human being.
Yes, I totally agree. And I know there are many other high school instructors at this point in in attendance. I want to strongly encourage you to send your students to us. You can see how this pathway from K-12 to university is really helping our students to achieve something that they couldn't without this pathway, okay? So next, I want to share a quick video with you. Michael Kerper talking about how his Chinese advanced level study is actually relevant to his MBA career.
I really attribute my Chinese experiences at UW with helping me to get placed on a really interesting team for my summer internship in between the first and second years of MBA at Foster, where I was working at Starbucks, and I was selected to work on the China and Asia Pacific team, specifically because of my background in China and Chinese language, which was something that continued to carry me through here into a full-time role on the international side of the business at Starbucks.
All right, this is just a small, short clip of what he sent me. And the next one is a clip from also a recent graduate, Betsy Zhang, who is a heritage language speaker. So I know we have some heritage language speaker here, and you may think, or your parents may think, oh, you already speak Chinese. Why do you need to keep studying it in college? Okay, so let's hear what Betsy says.
My name is Betsy, and I graduated at UW in 2018 with a double major in economics and Chinese language and literature. At UW, I took Chinese language classes 2, 3, and 4. These classes promoted my Chinese language skills by teaching me more academic and professional terminology that I did not know before. Prior, my general knowledge was only colloquial and daily vocabulary in Chinese. These Chinese classes have contributed to my education experience at UW because I was building the foundation of a language that I spoke daily. This is really important to me because I knew it's something I could apply in my everyday life. I have also met people in the department that helped guide my academic career. The workforce is becoming more and more diverse, and it helps to have a high proficiency in another language. My prior knowledge would not have sufficed alone. It has positively impacted my current work, and it helps me gain opportunities that I may not have gotten if I was not as proficient in Chinese. For those considering Chinese, it is a language that many employers would want. It is a rapidly growing language, and it would only help your future and career if it is a skill set that would make you high in demand. For those who are currently taking Chinese, I would advise practicing as much as you can outside of the classroom. It is not a language you can sit and memorize, but the rewards are high.
Okay, so I guess the idea is really taking Chinese, finish Chinese 100. You may check the box of your college foreign language requirement, but it will be nowhere near what you can make use of. It's not only just in daily communication, but also if you really want a job having something to do with Chinese or be more competitive out there, you need to reach a advanced and above level in order to really benefit from that, okay? I just shared with you some very basic information about our newly established flagship program.